We are Frank and Daphne, a couple of not-so-young cycle tourists from Canada, and we're off on another adventure in Europe. This time we're setting out to explore the Via Claudia Augusta, a historic route through the Alps that follows an old Roman road that connects the River Danube and the Adriatic Sea. We're flying into Frankfurt, so we'll be riding a few hundred extra kilometres from the airport to get to where the Roman road begins. So join us as we make our way from Frankfurt in Germany to the city of Venice in Italy, following in the footsteps of the Romans. Good morning, it's Tuesday morning and we're here at the campground in Glurns. This morning we've woken up in the crisp mountain air in the Vinschgau Valley in South Tyrol, outside the walled town of Glurns, which sits at 907 metres of elevation. Yesterday we had a beautiful downhill ride from the Austrian border at Rieschen Pass. Today we'll be continuing on through this valley in the general direction of Merano. That brought us to a total of 770 kilometres since we left Frankfurt 17 days ago. It was a little cool this morning when we got up, but the forecast is really good for today, so we're looking forward to some beautiful villages and riding today. So just have to finish my packing and we'll hit the road. Our team is ready this Tuesday morning.
Ready?
Ready? Here we go. By the way, in case you missed the previous episodes, Frank and I are riding with our friend Nancy. She's been on this journey with us since our day 9. She met up with us at Landsberg in Germany. This little town of Glurns is a very well preserved medieval walled town. We went in here for dinner last night and it's really charming. This is one of 3 gates into the city. When the town was plundered and set alight in 1499 following a battle in the Swabian War, the decision was made to build defences to protect the town. So that whole wall is still intact today. And the place is virtually unchanged since the 16th century. Due to its favourable location on the Adige River and the Via Claudia Augusta trade route, the hamlet was already an important trading centre back in Roman times. Yeah. This morning's route is like a superhighway for bicycles. Such a smooth surface, apple orchards all along, river on the left. We have 3 happy bikers this morning. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of apple orchards along the rest of this journey.
It's tempting just to pick a few apples, right?
We first started seeing orchards yesterday afternoon, just before we reached Glurns, and today we're definitely in the thick of the apple cultivation area. When we read up on it, we learned that 1 in 10 apples in the EU and 1 in 2 apples in Italy come from South Tyrol. Around 20 apple varieties are cultivated here, and all the apple farms are small-scale family-run businesses with about 7,000 farming families involved. I love how they plant roses at the end of some of the apple rows. The apples thrive in this rather high elevation valley as the Alps protect from cold fronts from the north, and there's lots of sunshine, plus they like the day to night temperature variations here. It's interesting to read that it was the Romans who first brought apples to South Tyrol. We're coming to the town of Laas, which is noted for its white marble. White marble from Laas is known around the world and used in both architecture and art. There's even a stone sculpting school here. And some of the milestones placed along the Via Claudia Augusta were made from Laas marble. Funny enough, for our coffee stop here this morning in the town of apples and marble, we're enjoying this delicious plum cake surrounded by very fine white cobblestones made from this natural stone. So we're just leaving the town of Laas, the marble town, and it's about 1:15. So a couple of times today we have stuck to the main rad route, which is very clearly signed here to Merano, and in a couple of places it has differed from the commute Via Claudia route. I think that Via Claudia tries to stay true to the Roman road. Is so much fun. It's generally slightly downhill all the way, and it's very popular judging by the number of cyclists we've seen today. It's called the Merano Radweg. We just passed a big apple production facility called Apple Paradise. place is a hive of apple activity. Turno is next? Okay. At this point, we're only about 20 kilometers from the city of Merano and the end of this valley. It's certainly been all about the apples today, but we've also enjoyed these great mountain vistas and the company of the Adige River, which we were never too far away from. And in terms of the number of cyclists, this is definitely the busiest section of trail we've seen so far. But you can understand why it's popular. The path is really well developed, the scenery is great, it's suitable for all levels of cyclists, and it's near a large city. We're just passing the town of Parsines or Parshins. Still in the apple belt. That is Merano down there. This spot gave us a great panoramic view of the city of Merano and its surrounding area. However, we're not planning to go into the city, and instead we'll carry on along the Via Claudia path as it takes a turn to the south now. We are going to aim for a campground in the community of Lana. We're now descending very, very rapidly from that high viewpoint down towards the Merano basin. We're going to be returning shortly to use this lovely bridge to cross the Adige. But first, a short diversion to find a supermarket to stock up on supplies. We're heading to the town of Lana, where we think we've secured a camp spot. We'll see. Frank had phoned ahead to this campground earlier, and they reluctantly agreed to find us a spot, although they're actually full. And there aren't that many campgrounds in this area to choose from. So we made it to Lana and found the campground by about 6:30, and sure enough, they squeezed us into a little grassy spot in between some other campers. We'd had a 75-kilometer day, but all really easy riding. So we're here in a really, really nice campground. This is a classy joint with a swimming pool and a restaurant. So tonight for dinner in camp, we're cooking up some salmon, I'm gonna have some rice and lentils, some corn. We'll have some red wine somewhere, and then my favorite biscuits afterwards. There we go. Dinner is complete with wine. Good morning. It's Wednesday, and we're in Camping Algund in Lana and getting breakfast ready. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning.
Good morning, Frank.
Good morning, I'm grumpy in the morning.
This is the little spot we had squeezed in between all the caravans and motorhomes. Worked perfectly fine. We were very happy to get a spot. There aren't that many campgrounds in the area. Wish we'd been here long enough to take advantage of the pool. We are ready for the day. It's Wednesday. Rain forecast for late this afternoon, so we'll see how it goes. We're heading south towards Bolzano. You can hear the hum of tractors all around these apple orchards, and they all have the same small tractors, these small tractors that fit through the rows of apple trees. Our route this morning on the Via Claudia initially takes us along the western side of the Adige Valley, under the steep dramatic slopes of the Mendola mountain range, which is on our right. There's one very distinctive mountain peak up ahead that our eyes are drawn to. I don't know how to pronounce its name, so I won't try. Anyway, that peak marks the point where the valley changes direction slightly up ahead, and it is right across the valley from the city of Bolzano. This Via Claudia sign is just before the town of Laas, a nice reminder of the Roman road history here, this one being all about the burial rituals of the Romans. Here we're riding down the hill out of the town of Laas on Via Andriano towards the village of Andriano. Laas marks the gateway to South Tyrol's wine route, or the Strada del Vino, said to be one of Italy's oldest wine routes, which extends from here south to the town of Salerno. After Andriano, we start heading across the valley back towards the river Adige, which we'll be following closely to the turnoff for Bolzano. When you look up in the hills here, you can pick out some of the many fortresses dotting the slopes. The region between Merano and Bolzano is known as the land of castles. The many fortresses here sprung up from the 13th century onwards, giving the area the highest density of castles in Europe. A sure sign of the turbulent history of this part of South Tyrol. We're about 5 kilometers from Bolzano now, or Bozen, depending if you're using the Italian or German, and we'll probably go into the city centre, have a look around, have some coffee and something to eat, and carry on from there, see how far we get before the rain comes. this afternoon. Now we're following a pretty nice cycle path into the centre of Bolzano. Bolzano, or Bozen, is a melting pot of ancient history and vibrant modernity that blends the German and Italian cultures, giving it a special vibe. We arrived into the Waltherplatz, or Piazza Walther, which was buzzing with life under the white marble statue of the German poet after which the piazza was named.
Maybe you can walk a little bit and not to be right on ground.
We scoped out a nice outdoor cafe for lunch and afterwards had a wander around the streets. Bolzano belonged to the Austrian Empire until Italy acquired it at the end of World War I, and it preserves its Austrian architectural character. And of course, at one time it would have been predominantly German-speaking, but today almost 75% of the town's residents speak Italian. Bolzano's most famous citizen is a 5,300-year-old corpse named Uzi, the Iceman who was found still frozen in the nearby Alps. We saw him on a previous visit at the South Tyrol Museum of Archaeology not far from here. So the Adige River is on our left here, and this bridge is taking us across the Sarco River, I do believe. Well, I actually had that the wrong way round. As we cycled out of Bolzano, we had the large Sarco River join us on our left. That river flows through Bolzano and will run parallel with the Adige here, just for a short distance before flowing into the Adige a short distance south of here. I don't remember seeing where the confluence was, but when we notice the river has grown a lot up ahead, we'll know why. We have a headwind now. That seems to happen in the afternoons.
This is a good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, beginning to thaw from where
We have a strong headwind this afternoon, but the temperature is really pleasant. And we're going to push on to Oro and hopefully get a coffee there. So we did detour off the path into the community of Ora on the east side of the valley for an afternoon coffee break. And while we were stopped, did a little research on camping possibilities for the evening. Nancy is navigating us now to a campground. We phoned ahead and it sounds like we can camp. Rain is in the forecast for the evening, and rain is going to be with us supposedly all day tomorrow. Well, all morning tomorrow at least. So, could be a wet night. So there's rain up in the mountain there to our right. Definitely. We hope we can get to camp before we get any down in this area. That's a pretty stunning view up ahead. Okay, we've arrived and it is 5:10. That's earlier than many of our nights. The rain did manage to hold off for the evening, and we got set up in the small garden area reserved for tents, and were able to walk up the hill to a nearby agriturismo that had an excellent restaurant set amidst grapevines. Well, we knew there was rain in the forecast, and this time they were not wrong. It's a very soggy one today, so we found a sheltered spot here to have breakfast. And nice that you can order your bread here the night before to have in the morning. This is our camp spot.
Still smiling.
There's Nancy, yeah, she's still smiling. There's our tents over there. It's a perfect spot, but it is a very soggy morning. Not sure when it's forecast to dry up. And it is 11:30 now. We've sort of hung out in the campground waiting for the rain to let up, and it seems to have stopped for now, so we think we'll push on towards Trento. That's our goal for today, depending on the weather. Maybe we'll get a hotel. If the weather gets bright again, we might camp. This campground was great. Nice small campground with a separate tenting area in the garden, away from all of the RVs. It's a beautiful setting. Nice facilities in there. And a lovely little natural pool for swimming, but we didn't get to do that. Well, we did eventually set off to brave the elements, but only got a few kilometres down the road when the heavens really opened again and we took shelter. The ride to Trento would be about 50 kilometres if we managed to get there, and we were comforted by the fact that we had already booked a hotel, or at least we thought we had. This is where we'll pick up the story in the next episode, when we'll share how the rest of our soggy day transpired. First really wet day.
I don't want to talk about it.